Tim's News Explosion. 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 Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of Tim's News Explosion. During these news blasts, I untwist the established news narrative of the week in a fast-paced 30-minute digest every Monday evening. We are back live this week on the Wilmsfront YouTube channel and, as always, on the Wilmsfront D-Live channel. Hello to everyone in the live chats, and you can also interact more directly with myself on Entropy by either sending through a question or send through a super chat. It seems that everything is working well technically. I can see all of the regulars here. Hello, Australian Protectionist Party. Hello, Crescio. Hello, Binary. Hello, Senator Slayer. There it is 8:30 p.m. here in Melbourne, Victoria on this Monday, the 28th of June, 2021, where it is, well, D-Day here. That is Dan Day, as Premier Dan Andrews returned to work today after his stairfall back on March the 9th. Now, obviously, because he suddenly disappeared for over 3 months, there was a lot of rumors about what really happened during that stairfall at a Sorrento holiday home on at the end of the Labor Day weekend, because he didn't just completely vanish from TV screens, but also from his social media as well. It was left vacant for months there. A lot of people said he wasn't going to come back. Yesterday, he and his wife, Catherine, narrated a very slick together, you would say, story or video vlog where they go through the Dan's accident, where their story is that Dan, while getting ready for work on that Tuesday morning after the Labor Day weekend, it had apparently been raining the night before. I haven't checked the Bureau of Meteorology website to check if it was raining down the peninsula way that night before. But yeah, Dan said that apparently he knew that he was in trouble when he slipped on the first step and became airborne. And Catherine said, "I thought that he was going to die. He turned blue." And Dan, of course, he talked about how hurtful it was for him and his family, these vile, nasty rumors. He repeated that at his first press conference back today outside the construction of the Metro rail tunnel, which he said is one of his government's proudest achievements. It is a good rail project. That's definitely one of the reasons Dan got re-elected in 2018. I certainly would like to ride it when it opens. I think it's end of 2020. Oh, I think it doesn't open until 2025. Hopefully by that time, masks are not mandatory on public transport, because I don't take public transport at the moment because of that. Now, I've just summarized basically Dan's video and press conference today, because I don't think it's right on this program to actually put Dan's face or voice back onto your screens there. Now, a lot of people were predicting that when Dan got back, there would be another lockdown in Victoria. Well, as we all know, one happened while his deputy acting premier, James Merlino, was at the helm at the end of last month. But now all the COVID madness is happening in all the other states and territories. I know that a lot of people who watch this program don't like me going on about the COVID pandemic and all the restrictions and lockdowns, but it is still impacting our lives. I mean, we are sort of living under a democratic Chinese regime, I have said, but there are other things tonight that I'm going to go through. Now, during when I last broadcast an Unshackled production, Trad Tasman talk on Friday evening, Gladys Berejiklian, New South Wales Premier, had announced a localised lockdown of 4 local government areas due to the growing Bondi cluster of the Delta variant, which began, we're told, by an unvaccinated, unmasked limo driver at Sydney Airport transporting international aircrew. The New South Wales Police have said that there's not enough evidence to charge the limo driver with breaking public health orders because he didn't. The Health Minister, Brad Hazzard, has since updated the orders, he said, from guidelines to rules. There's always this confusion about what is it, guidelines and rules. So it's a rule now, but definitely the New South Wales government are using the limo driver as a scapegoat. So on Saturday, Gladys Berejiklian announced that all of Greater Sydney, Wollongong, Shell Harbour, Blue Mountains and the Central Coast would enter a 2-week lockdown, which goes for the whole of school holidays, which began at 6 p.m. On Saturday. So the 4 reasons to leave home. It's not quite as ridiculous as a Victorian lockdown, given that you don't have to wear a mask outside. You can exercise in groups of up to 10. And also there's no 5-kilometre radius curfew, or there's no time limit on exercise or shopping. So it's not quite, it's more like the original stage 3 restrictions rather than the stage 4 restrictions in Victoria. But I'll tell you what, the New South Wales Police and their enforcement of the new Greater Sydney lockdown, trying to give the Victoria Police a run for their money with issuing, well, they don't call them fines, but issuing tickets. So this was the New South Wales Police Commissioner Mick Fueller today, talking about one of the fines dished out, and then, well, there was a surprise guest at the New South Wales Daily Press briefing.
Unbelievably, we saw 2 men sunbaking naked on a beach on the south coast. They were startled by a deer, ran into the national park and got lost. Not only did they require assistance from SES and police to rescue them, they also both received a ticket for $1,000. Now, it's only a small percentage of the New South Wales people that are not following the health guidelines, but I can assure you, if you breach the health orders or the guidelines, you will be punished.
Could we ask you to clarify some of the details surrounding, in particular, the sunbathers? Did they drive illegally down to the south coast, and how would you describe that behaviour, really?
Look, I think, as the health minister said yesterday, it's difficult to legislate against idiots, but you know, clearly putting people at risk by leaving home without a proper reason, and I think then not only on top of that, but then getting lost in the national park and diverting important resources away from the health operation. I think they should be embarrassed. But again, they both received $1,000 fines. So,
I have a question for you. Did you receive my notice of cease and desist?
it's not your time. Sorry,
I understand this. Sorry. No. You were served.
Don't come near me.
Served with a notice to cease and desist. I captured this earth last year, and I captured everything. I am the prime creator of this earth. I am the...
Okay, we'll leave that there for the moment. That was live from...
Now, I can't believe in all the COVID press conferences we had down in Victoria, especially the ones outside, we never had someone like the Prime creator attempt to go up to any of the politicians, public health officials, or police commissioners to hand them a cease and desist. That was most unusual there. So yeah, you had the police commissioner talking about the nude bathers who got fined for breaching lockdown, who apparently got lost in the woods because of a deer, and also getting served by the Prime creator. Now, I don't know who he is, but well, as tends to be the case during these lockdowns, he was taken away and issued with an $1,000 fine as well. He was obviously that was one of the highlight fines that New South Wales Police gave out, but they've said that they've given out 44 tickets, as they call them, at the moment. We've got a super chat over on Entropy here from an account that's titled Dia Beltran for $3 Australian. Dia says, I was very lucky not to have got a fine when I crossed the New South Wales border illegally at the start of June. Yes, you were lucky, and that's probably not a good thing to confess to on a live stream there. Now, obviously, going on from that, there's all the border restrictions now because of the Greater Sydney lockdown, and there's also a Greater Darwin lockdown because of a mine worker who is originally from Bendigo, who flew up via Brisbane to the mine, but because regional Victorians were banned from Queensland during that time, he had to stay in hotel quarantine in Brisbane, where he caught the Delta variant. Hotel quarantine seems to be the most dangerous place in Australia for infection. Then he went up to the mine and tested positive. 4 other people were infected in the NT yesterday. So the Chief Minister, Michael Gunner, announced a snap 48-hour lockdown there. Now, with a further case today, he's extended that to Friday. He only gave Darwinians 90 minutes notice of the lockdown, though unlike the rest of Australia and Sydney siders, they didn't go for the toilet paper. They went for the BWSs there. I mean, when there's ever a cyclone in Darwin, whether it be Cyclone Tracy or Cyclone Ingrid, Darwinians, they all go to the grog shop to panic buy there, not the toilet paper. But us Victorians, our Chief Health Officer Brett Sutton declared Darwin and Greater Sydney red zones, and Perth and Brisbane orange zones, because one of the people who was in the Sydney hotspots was a Perth resident who travelled back to Perth and has tested positive. So Mark McGowan has slapped some restrictions on Perth residents and from the Peel region, including indoor masks. The Brisbane local cases have been due to a Portuguese flight person testing positive, and a few local cases, and also a mine worker returning to Brisbane. So Anastasia Palaszczuk has slapped masks on people in Greater Brisbane as well, and also the residents of the ACT in South Australia have also been slapped with masks, despite there being 0 cases. South Australia has put up basically a border with the rest of Australia, apart from Tasmania. New Zealand has suspended the Trans-Tasman bubble. There's also, I've noticed in the question section here from our Kiwi fans, Savage Nobles and Merry Peasants. Tim, I've got a bunch of Australian coins here in Auckland from busking. Can I send to you in a box, please? Buy yourself a taller bookshelf. Yes, by all means, I would. All contributions are welcome. It will take a while to get here, though. Maybe, I'm not sure if you can, exchange them for notes. Probably notes are probably easier to send in a mail than a bunch of coins. I assume that you've got, what is it? You've got ANZ Banks over there, and what is it? BNZ, and yep. Yeah, so that shouldn't be an issue there, but very much appreciate your support, Savage Nobles and Merry Peasants there. So yes, it's being billed by the mainstream media a new COVID crisis in Australia, and there was an emergency National Security Committee meeting in Canberra this afternoon, and an emergency National Cabinet meeting, which Scott Morrison has just come from and done a live address where he has stated that the vaccinations will be mandatory for aged care workers by, well, the cutoff will be by September. Otherwise, well, they won't have a job in aged care. And also now anyone under the age of 60 can get the AstraZeneca vaccine, even though it's not recommended to them, if their doctor recommends that. And the doctors who recommend AstraZeneca for anyone under the age of 60 will be indemnified if the person gets blood clots and is injured or died. This is because, well, we are producing Australia. Well, CSL is producing 1 million AstraZeneca doses a week, which nobody really wants now. So hey, just open it up to everybody and just hope that they just don't go to waste there. That's the COVID situation in Australia. Now, as I've mentioned previously, in the UK, Prime Minister Boris Johnson has delayed Freedom Day until July. This now, obviously, a lot of the press conferences in the UK have not just been from Boris Johnson, but also the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, it is now former Health Secretary Matt Hancock, after the Sun newspaper in the UK, which is a Murdoch tabloid publication which had been dying over the past 10 years because it had had no juicy, salacious exclusives until the past week, where they got this CCTV footage here. This is Matt Hancock in his office here. He's shut the door. This is not his wife. This is one of his aides. And Matt Hancock said that you're only allowed to be with an intimate partner that you're living with. And this is him in his office, making sure the coast is clear. To get very handy with his cock with an aid there. So yes, a rule maker becomes rule breaker, and of course this is a very English scandal. England was known for, or Britain as a whole, for its many political sex scandals in the 70s, 80s, and 90s there, which have been, well, these types of sex scandals have been satirized over the years, and on the very funny and politically incorrect Little Britain program. And so this meme was created with Matthew Hancock responding to claims. We went to my office to discuss government policy. On entering the room, my clothes accidentally fell off. I slipped on a glacé chariot and part of me entered her. As far as I'm concerned, that is the end of the matter. Thank you. But of course, it wasn't the end of the matter. Matthew Hancock, or as Katie Hopkins calls him, Matthew Halfcock, while his cock had spent half the time in his aid, not all the time in his, the woman that he was married to, and this is his resignation video.
I've been to see the Prime Minister to resign as Secretary of State for Health and Social Care. I understand the enormous sacrifices that everybody in this country has made, that you have made, and those of us who make these rules have got to stick by them, and that's why I've got to resign. I want to thank people for their incredible sacrifices and what they've done. Everybody working in the NHS, across social care, everyone involved in the vaccine program, and frankly everybody in this country who has risen to the challenges that we've seen over this past 18 months. I'm very proud of what we've done to protect the NHS at the peak, to deliver that vaccine rollout, one of the fastest in the world, and I look forward to supporting the government and the Prime Minister from the backbenches to make sure that we can get out of this pandemic. We're so close to the end, and then build back better so that this country can fulfill its potential, which is so great. And I will do that with all of my heart.
He had to include at the end there the Great Reset globalist slogan, build back better there. Now, obviously, lots of puns have been made of his surname. He's the second male politician who has a slang term for penis in his surname caught up in a sex scandal. The original was former Democrat Congressman Anthony Weiner, who was taking pictures of his wiener, sending to women and underage girls over Twitter. He was married to Hillary Clinton's senior advisor, Uma Abedin. Anthony Weiner was eventually sentenced to prison. So who replaces Matthew Hancock? Well, he is being replaced by former Chancellor Sajid Jivad. Sajid Jivad, he resigned as Chancellor after a falling out with former Boris Johnson's advisor, Dominic Cummings. Now, Dominic Cummings fell out of favour with Boris Johnson at the end of 2020 and has basically spilled the beans about all that went on during the pandemic there. Boris Johnson's new, you would say, closest advisor is his new wife, Carrie, who is more like Carrie White than Carrie Bradshaw, if you get what I'm saying. Boris Johnson, I think, is thinking more with his Johnson these days, thinking more about Carrie Johnson rather than actually thinking rationally there, if you know what Johnson is slang for there. So that's what's been happening over in the UK there. In the US, we have had the much awaited not UFO report. It's called a report on unidentified aerial phenomena, because they don't like to use the term UFO. Now, it's been interesting that, well, it's been derided a lot of the rumor that the US government had been covering up interactions with UFOs or unidentified aerial phenomena until now, where the Pentagon basically admitted that there's aerial phenomena they cannot identify. So Andy Nolch, who is a believer in UFOs, wrote this for The Unshackled about how the truth is slowly coming out there. The thing that's always got me about alleged alien spacecrafts flying around Earth is just, why do they fly around Earth? Like, why don't they ever land here? I know that there's been a lot of speculation that the globalist next plot is to stage an alien invasion to further their emergency power and controls. Now, Joe Biden, he obviously has, what do we say, an unusual way of speaking, and he had a new way of speaking over the past week.
I got them $1.9 trillion relief so far. They're going to be getting checks in the mail that are consequential. I wrote the bill on the environment. Pay them more. This is an employees bargaining chip now. What's happening?
So what I gather from there is when Biden is talking about his achievements, that's when he whispers like that. He whispers his achievements and then goes back to his regular demeanor there. Also, we've had the astonishing, horrible collapse of that apartment building in Miami, which 9 bodies have been recovered. There's still over 150 missing. Now, apartment buildings collapse in places like India and Latin America. They don't collapse in the United States. So how the hell could that happen? Certainly the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, wants answers about that, and we hope there are answers about that. Now, last week on Wilm's Front with my guest Kyle Kutazi, I covered. We discussed the defamation nation that we are turning into in Australia, with politicians launching legal action against the media and all sorts of for other people here. Now, outgoing Liberal MP Andrew Laming, he threatened 10 MPs and journalists with legal action for accusing him of being an upskirter because of that photo that he took of that woman putting drinks into a fridge, which she wasn't wearing a skirt, she was wearing pants. So it was not an upskirting incident, including she's being sued again, Louise Milligan of the ABC. Now, despite the fact that she accused Laming of upskirting in a tweet on her private Twitter account, the ABC will be covering her legal fees like they did for the Porter defamation action, which was settled recently. And she seems to dish out quite a lot of abuse on Twitter. She didn't like when Australian patriot Dennis Hutz, who is still in a legal battle with Network 10, who accused him of being a white supremacist for It's Okay to Be White banner. So Dennis Hutz wrote to her, "Hope Porter takes you for everything you've got, you vindictive loser, deleting comments, bitch." And Louise Milligan said, "Delightful, just found this in my inbox," from a now blocked guy whose Facebook cover photo includes an "It's Okay to Be White" sign there. So yes, obviously, it seems like Louise Milligan, she dishes out a lot, but was very triggered when Dennis Hutz gave it to her there. Now, an ongoing legal saga is, now Defence Minister Peter Dutton. He is launched legal action against a far-left refugee asylum seeker advocate, Shane Bazzi, who accused him of being a rape apologist, which was an accusation that Green Senator Larissa Waters apologized for. Now, and just going back for the Laming defamation action against Louise Milligan, Labor Senator Murray Watt apologized for 3 tweets about Andrew Laming, accepted the claims were false and defamatory, and unconditionally withdraw those claims, and apologized to Ms. Laming for the hurt and offense that are caused to him by my conduct. Now, Shane Bazzi didn't apologize to Peter Dutton, so now they're going to mediation. The judge has said that that through mediation they're able to reach a compromise if they act sensibly. Now, in some more positive news, you'd say brave and courageous. Well, you wouldn't say Indigenous Australian advocate, but just pro-Australian advocate Jacinta Bryce has won pre-selection for the Country Liberal Party to run as a Senate candidate. Jacinta previously ran unsuccessfully as the CLP candidate for the seat of Lingaria, the last federal election. She replaces will replace current CLP Senator Sam McMahon, who, well, there was you would say a bit of mud slung at Sam McMahon in the lead up to this pre-selection vote, which is, well, pre-selection battles are always bruising, because Sam McMahon last week was accused of being maggoted, which means drunk during a late Senate sitting. The senator denied she was drunk. There was also allegations aired against Sam McMahon's former chief of staff that he was physically abusive. Previously, there had also been a lot of scrutiny of Sam McMahon's expenses. She had the most claimed travel expenses in the federal parliament, but she would argue that the Northern Territory gets it's a large electorate there, which she needs to cover. But yeah, she obviously had a troubled time in Canberra, Sam McMahon, and Jacinta Price. She'll definitely take up the pro Australia, Save Australia fight in the Senate, and will certainly take it up to Greens Indigenous Senator Lydia Thorpe, and I'm looking forward to them going head to head there. And now, also at the end of last week, of course, there was it was very scandalous that former Channel 7 personality and White Ribbon ambassador Andrew O'Keefe charged with domestic violence, but the charges were withdrawn, were dismissed on mental health grounds. And he was alleged to have assaulted his ex-partner during an argument over an ice pipe, which is, wow, that is, we already knew that Andrew O'Keefe had issues with drugs going back a decade there. But yes, that is quite extraordinary that for a man, a high-profile man accused of domestic violence, he basically had the charges dismissed there. But in some better popular cultural news to end the show, now we are all awaiting the new season of politically incorrect ethnic humoured show Fat Pizza, but it was confirmed, well, last week that Nick Giannopoulos, another politically incorrect ethnically charged comedian, will be making Wog Boy 3, and there was a feature on a current affair which I'll play.
Lights, camera, drasi. That's Greek for action. In Melbourne's inner suburbs, cameras are rolling, as is a Chrysler Valiant Pacer.
Another day, another Valiant, another espresso, and off we go.
For the latest film from comedian Nick Giannopoulos. It's a rare achievement for Aussie movies for a set of characters to go around for a third adventure, but it's happening right now, and you're about to join us on the set of
Zorba Dundee 3. Only joking. Wog Boy 3. The guy who was meant to play the TV reporter hasn't turned up today, and if you're up to it, mate, I'd love to. If you're up for it.
Well, hang on.
No, he's all right. No, can you act
in the movie?
Do you want to be Wog Boy 3?
No pressure, but get it right on the first take.
Hey, well done, mate.
We're watching on the monitor, yeah.
Hey, how'd it go? What did you think, Vince?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good.
Mate, personally, I thought you were terrific,
mate, stop it. No.
Mate, you don't get quality like that for free anymore.
You said we might do a reshoot with Tracy. That's what you said. You said that to me.
Reshoot with Tracy? No, mate. Seb's the man I wanted.
To say thank you, the guys made me a special pair of number plates. Apparently, it means reporter in Greek.
Oh, shucks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Mate, you've earned that.
Yeah. Sure have.
That's all yours.
Wog Boy 3.
You take it. You wear it with pride, buddy.
Hey.
Wog Boy 3 will open in cinemas next year.
Now, I get the feeling there that the reporter Seb Costello would have known that Malaka doesn't mean reporter in Greek, though I think a lot of Greeks would think that television reporters are Malaka there. And Seb Costello is the son of former Federal Treasurer and current Channel 9 Chairman Peter Costello. I'm sure, though, that Seb got his gig on Channel 9 completely on merit there. And now, obviously, following up a story that, a development that covered last week, the suicide of a former antivirus software magnate, John McAfee, in a Spanish prison awaiting extradition to the United States on tax evasion charges. Edward Snowden, believes that he was suicided McAfee and says that Julian Assange could be next. Well, we know that Julian Assange has basically been mentally broken in prison, so they don't really need to suicide him. They've basically suicided his mind now, sadly, there. And also, I'll finish the show by saying Free Britney. And I saw on Fox News Rose McGowan, who has proven herself to be more principled than a lot of us thought. She has figured out that the original Me Too movement is a liberal biased one full of abusers themselves, and she was on Fox News with Tucker Carlson giving her support to Free Britney there. So we definitely hope that Britney Spears, she is no longer a slave for her father, no longer overprotected. That's it for Tim's News Explosion tonight. We got there in the end. I'll see you next Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Melbourne time on the Wilmsfront YouTube and D-Live channels. And also for Wilmsfront this Thursday evening and Trad Tasman Talk this Friday with Stephen Berry for the first time. Take care, everybody. I'll see you on Thursday and see you next Monday for Trad Tasman Talk. Tim's News Explosion. 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 Tim's News Explosion.